Hi, ladies and gentlemen. We are on K2Born. My name is Tanguy Jacopin. I'm the founder and managing director of this education technology company, EdTech. And I'm going to use one of the key element of our didactic approach, and more specifically, it's a business case methodology that is something that is best or almost best in the world in the management field, which is the Harvard Business School methodology. Okay, so what is it about? Well, I'm going to explain to you. Small disclaimer before going on. So what you need to do is you need to be extremely rigorous, because if you make some mistake, you need to come back to the mistake. In that sense, you start from a generic approach. You use a bottleneck approach. You start with a sector and competitor analysis, where you try to figure out what are the key success factors of the major companies. You insist on the company that you have to study. You try to figure out if it has a competitive advantage, or so the ways through which it is different from the rest of its competitor, or if this company has not a competitive advantage, because keep in mind that only a few companies have competitive advantage. If its focus says on operational efficiency, what does it mean and where is it going? At this point, it's important to shed the light on the fact that if the company has not yet a competitive advantage, it is 90% sure that they are eager to move towards that direction. So in any case, it would be relevant to consider this aspect. Then, because you're executive, or you are going to be executive in the management field, you know that you've been hired to solve problems. So first you need to identify the problem, because otherwise you can't solve it out. So you need to identify the problem, and then you need to bring a solution. Because when you're going to start, you're not going to be necessarily, it's not going to be easy to figure out the element. I truly recommend you to focus on different problems. You can say primary source of problems that has to be solved by the company, secondary source, third source. Like that, you can solve out some element, and then when you provide solution, play on this as well. Okay, so you'll see that this Harvard Business School case methodology is extremely complex because it combines analysis with decision making. Keep in mind, again, that at this stage, if you make a mistake here, it's 90% sure that problem won't be solved adequately, and decision making will be even worse. Excepted, of course, if you make a huge mistake, and the mistake are corrected themselves, so it would be even worse. It's quite a complex one, because you need to work on your own, after you work in a team, and after you solve it together. So, as you know, at K2Born, we've got two types of methodology. One is offline and the other one is online. So for the offline methodology, you can't work in a team. Now, what I recommend you to do is to make a break as soon as you figure out the readings, the element concerning the case, concerning the company. Try to figure out, you post your video, and as soon as you figure it out, you come back to it. Because you will enjoy far more the element that we are giving to you and for you. Okay, keep in mind. Perfect. Just joking. But honestly, you will see it deserves it in terms of learning curve. Now, if you're working if you decide to follow on the online webinar approach, you will see that you can work in groups. So you work on your own between two online webinar. You work in team. Imagine you're 12, 3 team of 4. You work on your own, you solve it, and then you solve it with the instructor. Okay, so this is the reason why it can be pretty interesting. Pros and cons of this approach. Well, cons, learning curve at the beginning, it's a bit tough, but it's extremely rewarding, because well, it's Harvard is top business school in the world. The MBA costs around 96,000 USD for the 2 years. I'm talking only about tuition fees. So if you go through this type of methodology, I would say This is a great advantage. And if you go in a job interview where you get group dynamics, if some of your competitors have already gone through the Harvard Business Case methodology and you haven't, it can be a problem for you. Okay, so but on top of it, and above all, this is the other reason why we focus it on it. It's based on real cases. It's correlated with induction because you focus on the problem, you solve it, and at the end you can see, hey, I'm able to figure out of a new possible tools. This is one of the reasons why we are at K2Born particularly interested in this tool. I'm sure that you will agree with us later on as soon as you go through these cases. Okay, that's it for us. Thank you. Enjoy your day and see you soon in K2Born. Bye-bye.